Welcome, all specters and ghouls, to Witch Hollow Homestead. If you are familiar with the channel, you know that we love Halloween. And I thought I would share some of our spooky Halloween photos from this year's photo shoot. After the photo shoot, I was craving some pumpkin chocolate chip cookies, so I thought I would show all of you how to make your very own. To start out, you can use canned pumpkin, or if you have any pumpkins at home to roast, you can quickly roast those up and use some fresh pumpkin. Although I will admit, one of my favorite things to use in these cookies isn't pumpkin at all. It's actually honey nut squash. The honey nut squash is so creamy, and it has the exact texture for the cookies that I love so much. So don't panic if you don't have a little pumpkin, because you can use honey nut squash or even a butternut squash. I washed up my pumpkins, sliced them in half, and I'm going to stick them on a tray and bake them in the oven at 350 degrees for 45 minutes. I always like to be honest about an active working kitchen, and this is what it looks like in the middle of trying to do a whole bunch of things in a day. It's not pretty, it's not neat, but it doesn't matter because in the end, I actually got everything done that I wanted to in a day. That's a win for me. The pumpkins are done. I'm taking them out and I'm going to let them sit on the tray for about 15 minutes or so, just so they cool slightly so that I can handle them. Once they're a little cool, I'm going to scrape the seeds out along with all the stringy bits in the center of the pumpkin. And I'm going to scrape the pumpkin out and put that in a separate bowl. And I'm going to let that cool for about 20 minutes just because I don't want to be adding hot pumpkin into my cookie mix. Once the pumpkin or the squash is cooled, I'm going to smush it all together and make sure that it's not stringy. And then I am going to take a half a cup of our pumpkin mixture. With the leftover pumpkin, I am going to show you what we can do with that, but we'll set that aside for now. So to the mixer, I added my half a cup of pumpkin, and now I'm adding a half a cup of sugar into this small bowl. And this step is only if you don't have brown sugar. I like to make my own brown sugar. So I'm going to take my half a cup of sugar and I'm going to add 1 to 2 tablespoons of molasses. 1 tablespoon of molasses will give you light brown sugar. 2 tablespoons will give you dark brown sugar. And then you're going to take your spoon and you're going to mix it up really well so that all of the molasses gets incorporated with the sugar. And just like magic, you have brown sugar. I'm going to place this brown sugar in my mixing bowl with my pumpkin. We're now going to measure out a half a cup of butter. You can use any type of butter you'd like. I am using some leftover Violife butter. I also have some Miyoko's butter left. And then I'm also going to be using some coconut oil. Add your butter to the mixing bowl where your brown sugar and your pumpkin is. To that, we're adding 1 teaspoon of vanilla. The next part are our spices, and this is going to be up to you per your taste. We like a lot of cinnamon, so I'm adding 2 full teaspoons of cinnamon into our mixture. Add a little bit of nutmeg. The last 2 ingredients I'm going to add are cardamom and ginger. So this is probably the part that everybody's going to laugh about. I don't drink coffee because I can't have the caffeine, and even decaf coffee bothers me. So this is a coffee bean grinder that my grandmother bought for me 20 years ago, and I use it to grind herbs and spices. It works really well if you need something ground really finely. So that's what I use my coffee grinder for. But I did 1/4 of a teaspoon of cardamom because it's pretty strong. And then I did a few pieces of fresh dehydrated ginger. Here's what our batter looks like so far. I'm going to take this and put it on the KitchenAid mixer and get it whisked up. After about 2 minutes, when everything has creamed together, I am going to add 1½ cups of all-purpose flour, 1 teaspoon of baking soda, and 1/2 teaspoon of salt. The last ingredient is going to be 1/3 cup of chocolate chips. If you like more chocolate chips, you can definitely add 1/2 cup. I just didn't want to distract from the strong cinnamon pumpkin taste. Our batter looks good. You can do a little sneak taste test if you'd like, although don't eat all your batter because you won't have enough for cookies. We're going to take this batter, I'm going to cover it up and put it in the refrigerator for at least an hour. Before I put it in the fridge, I just want to make sure that I scrape down the sides really well and get all of the batter into the center. Let's go back to that extra pumpkin while our cookies are chilling. I am going to vacuum seal 1/2 cup because next time I want to make these cookies, I can just take this out of the freezer, know exactly what the measurement is in the bag, let it thaw, and make another batch of pumpkin cookies. I ended up having enough for another 1/2 cup and then only had a little bit left for 1/4, but that's okay because I can use that in pasta sauce. This is a few hours later and a few outfit changes later as well. I got held up doing other things, but I did get to the cookies eventually at 6 o'clock at night. I took the batter out of the fridge and I'm just going to use a tablespoon to scoop out a decent sized chunk, roll them into a ball, and stick them on a tray. You don't want to handle these too much because they will warm quickly, and you don't want them to warm too quickly before you put them in the oven. I have my oven preheating at 350 degrees, and this batch of batter makes anywhere from 14 to 17 cookies. It just depends on how big you make your cookies. Before you put them in the oven, get a fork and some powdered sugar, and dip your fork in the powdered sugar, and then press the cookies down just like you do with peanut butter cookies, just so they spread a little bit easier. Depending on how soft or hard you want your cookie, I'm going to give you the time range. So if you like really, really soft cookies, you're going to do 10 minutes. If you want the cookies to be a little more firm, you're going to do 12 to 13 minutes. And if you want your cookies to have a nice snap and hold up pretty well, you're going to do 15 minutes. The cookies are done and I have pulled them out of the oven. They smell so good. Allow them to sit on the tray for 10 to 15 minutes before moving them to a cooling rack. Thank you so much for joining me today at Witch Hollow Homesteading. I hope you found this video helpful and inspiring. Before we end this video, I thought I would take us out on a spooky little note of showing you the remaining Halloween photos that we took. Happy Halloween!